Welcome to Hidden Vectors, America's Vanishing Brain Trust. I'm Phil Little, and this is a Private Investigator Experience podcast. I'm president and owner of West Coast Detectives International, a global security firm with over 104 years of experience in high-profile investigations, counterterrorism, risk assessment, protecting critical assets across continents. From tracking terrorist networks in volatile regions to assessing risk for multinational companies and governments, I've seen how targeted threats against key individuals can reshape security landscapes. Today, we're turning that lens inward to a disturbing cluster of deaths and disappearance right here in the United States. We'll explore some possibilities in this series grounded in evidence, not speculation. 1. Was there foreign intelligence operations targeting U.S. talent? Number 2. Insider threats or mental health, security clearance failures. 3. Gaps in private contractor and lab security protocols, or pure statistical clustering in a large workforce. We're going to separate signals from the noise. In my experience, the truth often lies in the overlooked details of investigation coordination between agencies. Before we start, would you help me by liking, sharing, subscribing, and you know the drill. Hit that notification bell for future posts. Imagine this. A top NASA materials scientist vanishes without a trace during a routine hike in California. A retired Air Force Major General with deep ties to advanced research walks out of his Albuquerque home one morning, leaving his phone, glasses, and wearable devices behind, and is never seen again. Multiple nuclear lab personnel go missing under odd circumstances. In total, at least 10 to 12 scientists, engineers, and officials tied to America's most sensitive programs have died or disappeared since 2022. Is this coincidence or something far more sinister? Well, the pattern emerges. Let's dig into the facts, the timeline, and the cases. This story gained national attention in April 2026 when the House Oversight Committee, led by Chairman James Comer and Representative Eric Burleson, launched a formal inquiry. They sent letters to the FBI, Department of Energy, Department of War, and NASA demanding briefings on personnel protection and potential national security threats. The FBI quickly stepped up, announcing they're spearheading the effort to look for connections among these cases, working with multiple agencies. As of late May 2026, FBI Director Kash Patel has stated that a consolidated report is coming in short order. Here are some of the most prominent cases publicly discussed. Michael David Hicks, 2023. Longtime NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory planetary scientist. Died reportedly of a heart disease. This is often cited as the starting point of this cluster. Another, Monica Reza, June 22nd, 2025. Director of Material Processing at NASA JPL, with prior work at Aerojet Rocketdyne on advanced rocket propulsion alloys. Disappeared while hiking in the Los Angeles National Forest near Mount Waterman. She was last seen smiling and waving to her hiking companions before vanishing. Extensive searches found little. Her phone was reportedly left behind. She had professional ties to Programs linked to missing Air Force Major General William Neil McCastellan, February 27th, 2026. Retired Air Force Major General, former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory with reported UAV related work, vanished from his Albuquerque home. He took a revolver, but left his phone, glasses, and other items. Searches continue. His wife has expressed concern he planned not to be found. Los Alamos cases, 2025. This includes Melissa Cassis. She was administration with security clearance. Phone reportedly wiped and left behind. And Anthony Chavez. Both are missing under separate circumstances. At the end, I'll give you an update on Melissa Cassis as of yesterday. Others include an MIT fusion plasma physicist, Nuno Loureiro, shot in December 2025. The perpetrator was identified. Caltech astrophysicist Carl Gilmeyer, shot February 2026. And additional JPL nuclear and defense contractor personnel. These cases span natural death, homicides, suicides, accidents, and unexplained disappearances. Many involved individuals with access to classified or sensitive information in nuclear weapons, aerospace propulsion, fusion energy, and advanced materials. Well, what's the official response and what has been revealed? As of today, no public evidence confirms a coordinated plot. Officials stress many cases have individual explanations. However, the clustering of professionals in overlapping sensitive fields, combined with unusual details like abandoned phones, remote vanishings, has prompted serious scrutiny. Key revelations so far. The White House, under President Trump, directed a holistic review. House oversight is focused on whether personnel protection protocols failed and if foreign adversaries, e.g., talent recruitment programs, could be involved. The FBI is consolidating data across jurisdictions. Director Patel emphasizes they will pursue any nefarious conduct or conspiracy. From my decades in global security, this is classic risk assessment territory. When key talent in strategic domains starts falling off the map, you don't dismiss patterns lightly, even if most prove coincidental. My expert analysis and why this matters. Now let's turn to what I bring to this conversation. After decades leading West Coast Detectives International, our firm has investigated everything from high stakes international terrorism cases and targeted assassinations to complex risk assessments for government and corporations operating in hostile environments. When we look at this cluster of deaths and disappearances involving scientists and engineers tied to America's most sensitive programs, several professional red flags stand out. First, the concentration of expertise. These individuals weren't random members of the public. We're talking about specialists in nuclear materials, advanced rocket propulsion alloys, fusion energy, aerospace imaging, and programs with potential national security implications. Monica Reza, for example, she directed processing at NASA JPL and worked on high performance superalloys for rocket engines. General William McCastellan commanded the Air Force Research Laboratory. Losing even one such person creates knowledge gaps. Losing a cluster, legitimate questions rises about systematic vulnerability. From my experience in global cases, When key personnel in strategic fields begin to suffer untimely ends or vanish, the first step is always pattern analysis. Are we seeing coincidences? Or is there a signal hidden in the noise? As of late, May 2026, the FBI has stated that there is no confirmed evidence of a coordinated plot. Many cases have individual explanations, natural causes, identified perpetrators in some homicides, or possible personal circumstances, as appears likely in General McCastellan's disappearance based on statements from his wife and investigators. Yet, the House Oversight Committee is right to demand briefings. In risk assessment terms, we call this a cluster exception. With thousands of cleared professionals working in these fields, statistical overlaps can happen. But when these overlaps involve people with access to classified nuclear, aerospace, or advanced materials programs, and unusual details like abandoned phones during hikes or wiped devices, any seasoned investigator would prioritize ruling out foreign espionage, insider threats, or security protocol failures. The key risk assessment angles I see here. One, foreign adversary targeting nations like China. They have a well documented talented recruitment and intellectual property program. Two, in my international work, I've seen sophisticated operations aimed at scientists and not always flashy assassinations, pressure, recruitment, or subtle disruptions. We must examine where any of these cases show patterns, unusual communication, or financial anomalies that could indicate compromise. Three, insider threats and mental health pressures. High security clearance work carries enormous stress. The classified nature of the projects can isolate people. Number four, General McCastellan's case, with reports of recent health struggles and his wife's belief he planned not to be found, highlights how personal crisis can intersect with professional sensitivities. Number five, interagency and contractor security gaps. Private firms like Aerojet Rocketdyne, national labs, and contractors often operate with a varying protection standards. Number six, from my firm's experience protecting executives and assets abroad, personnel security must be proactive, continuously monitoring family support programs and rapid response protocols. The current federal review should focus on whether these were adequate. In this episode, I'm going to focus on one of the missing experts. I did a deep dive into his background, and that is on Air Force Major General William Neil McCastellan, born 1957. He's a retired U.S. Air Force Major General, astronomical engineer, and former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He disappeared on February 27, 2026, from his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and remains missing as of late 2026, roughly 3 months. Military career and background. McCastellan had a distinguished 34-year career, 1979 to 2013, focused on space, research, acquisitions, and classified programs. He had an education, BS in astronomical engineering from the U.S. Air Force Academy, 1979, PhD in astronomical engineering from MIT. He was Hertz Foundation Fellowship. Some of his key roles, commander at AFRL at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, 2011 and 2013. He oversaw a large science technological portfolio, 2.2 billion in funding, managing 10 8,800 personnel across advanced aerospace, weapons, and human performance research. Earlier, he'd been the commander of the Phillips Research Site at Kirtland Air Force Base, vice commander of Ogden Air Logistics. He had Pentagon roles, including director of space acquisition and director of spatial programs. He worked with the National Reconnaissance Office on space systems. After he retired, he lived in Albuquerque, Sandera Heights area, worked as director of technology at Applied Technology Associates. He had a brief unpaid consulting role with Tom DeLonge's to the Stars Academy. They worked on UFO topics for fiction media projects. Wright Patterson has long been tied to UFO lore, Project Blue Book, Roswell rumors of stored debris, which has fueled speculation about his knowledge of classified programs. Now, his wife has tried to downplay any spatial knowledge, describing his DeLonge link as limited and non-sensitive. He was a highly competent, decorated officer. His awards were Air Force Distinguished Service Medal, Legion of Merit, and known for his technical expertise in space and advanced systems. His disappearance on February 27, 2026, started with leaving his home on foot at 11 a.m. in the Sandera Hills area. He was an experienced hiker outdoorsman. His wife, Susan McCastellan Wilkerson, she was a former USAF reserve officer, returned from a medical appointment 1 hour later and found him gone. Interesting now, the items left behind: cell phone, prescription glasses, wearable devices, smartwatch for tracking. Items taken: hiking boots, wallet, 38 caliber revolver with holster. In her 911 call, wife told dispatchers she had some indications that he must have planned not to be found. She noted he changed clothes and left vehicles and bikes behind. The search efforts: extensive. Ground teams, dogs, drones, helicopters, horseback, neighborhood canvassing, FBI involvement. A gray Air Force sweatshirt found 1.25 miles away has not been confirmed to be part of his attire. No confirmed sightings or body. A civil alert was issued due to his age and medical concerns. The recent context. Reportedly, he met with a colleague on Kirtland Partnership Committee the day before. She described him as foggy from new medication. Also reportedly dined with Space Force members shortly before vanishing. He is one of the 10 missing or deceased individuals with classified access on a federal list, adding scrutiny. Well, what about health and personal context? These reported issues: anxiety, short term memory, loss, lack of sleep, unexplained 20-pound weight loss, self reported mental fog over recent months, led him to step back from some activities. New medication prescribed for sleep was taken the night before disappearance. He reportedly felt in a daze or unlike himself afterward. The wife's statement, so: no dementia, Alzheimer's. He was not confused or disorientated, but had some risk. They were seeing a doctor together. No prior disappearance. Suicidal behavior noted. He was preparing for a ski trip. Normal life plans. No clear depression. Officials noted no signs of suicidal ideation or major behavioral changes beyond the fog. This suggests possible health related factors: medication side effects, cognitive concerns, or a deliberate act tied to feeling unwell, rather than foul play or external coercion as a primary driver, per available public information. The potential hints at why he disappeared. No definitive cause has been established. The case remains open. Plausible explanations based on facts. health, cognitive design, self reported mental fog, new meds, anxiety, insomnia, leaving tracking devices behind, wife's statement, plan not to be found, experienced outdoorsman in familiar terrain, could indicate a voluntary departure due to health fears, disorientation episode, or suicide. He had a gun taken with him. The UFO speculation, high public interest, low confirmed evidence, ties to Wright Patterson, brief, Delonge Consulting, Podesta emails, WikiLeaks, and David Gershis naming him in context of a non cooperation on UAP programs. Some link him to broader missing scientists patterns with classified access. Wife and officials push back on misinformation here. Some of the other points, personal stress, accident in the remote area, foul play. Taking a gun suggests preparedness or a threat. No strong evidence for that at this moment. Bottom line, the most evidence based hints point to personal health issues, mental fog, medication, intentional exit per wife, in an experienced hiker who chose to leave his tech behind. His high level classified background and Wright Patterson role have amplified conspiracy angles, especially amid other similar cases and UAP discussions. But authorities treat it primarily as a missing persons case with health factors. Searches continue with the FBI. No resolution at this time. A reminder from my years in the trenches of investigative work. Never assume the facts in front of you tell the whole story. Right now, I'm not convinced enough to call this case closed and report a solid conclusion to a client. So the digging continues and it's getting even deeper. We're going to pause our current dig right here. But next time, we'll jump straight back in with the latest facts and shining light on some of the other missing scientists connected to this group. You won't want to miss it. On the next episode, we're diving into past cases with striking similarities. We'll examine what history can teach us and see if those old clues help crack this one wide open. Now, an update June 1, 2026. Melissa Macias, a 50-year-old administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, went missing on June 26, 2025. Her remains were found nearly a year later on May 28, 2026, and as of June 1 was positively identified. The discovery of the remains. A hiker found human remains in the McCaffrey area of Carson National Forest on May 28, 2026. New Mexico State Police confirmed the identification through the Office of the Medical Investigator. A handgun was found alongside the remains. Interestingly, reports indicate Casillas did not own a gun, adding to the uncertainty. The area had reported been searched previously extensively during initial person investigations. So that raises a question. Was her body placed there at some later time? The cause and manner of death have not been determined. The remains are undergoing further testing. The investigation into her disappearance and death remains active and ongoing. The circumstances of her disappearance on June 26, 2025, Casillas dropped off lunch for her daughter at work, then returned home. She was last seen on surveillance footage walking along southbound State Road 518. She was alone. She had a backpack on. She failed to show up for work and did not return home that evening. Family found her car in the driveway with her purse, wallet, ID, keys, and 2 cell phones left behind. The phones had reportedly been wiped, reset to factory settings. She was classified as a missing endangered person. There were earlier conflicting views within the family. Her husband, Mark and daughter reportedly believed she had left voluntarily, while other relatives, her niece is one, suspected foul play and pushed for justice. The case drew attention amid broad speculation about missing or deceased U.S. scientist lab workers, some linked to government or sensitive work. As of the latest reports, no official ruling on suicide, homicide, accident, or other causes existed. Police continue to investigate, and as other details emerge, we will keep you up to date on this active case with unanswered questions. I'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, theories, or experiences in the comments. If you've worked on similar cases or have any ideas, let me know. I read every single one and I will respond. You can also reach me directly at pi777 at gmail.com. If you enjoyed the investigation, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, share this with your friends, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss an update. The truth is out there, and we're going to keep chasing it together. Stay sharp, stay informed, and stay safe out there. May God bless you, your family, and may God bless America. See you in the next episode. It's going to be a big one.